Tonight, calls to upgrade the Bruce Highway at Sereno. The search for a missing shark net. A new candidate announced for Morani. And the odd couple on the run in the wilderness.
Across Mackay, the Whitsundays and the coalfields, this is 7 News with Rob Bruff.
Good evening. Thanks very much for joining us. One Nation's Stephen Andrew is calling for an audit on a dangerous stretch of the Bruce Highway at Sereno. It follows a horror 4-vehicle crash at the car wreckers intersection that has left a woman with life-threatening injuries.
It's hard to believe anyone survived this smash. The red hatchback was barely recognisable after being rammed in a 4-car crash at Sereno last month. The driver was seriously injured and put in an induced coma.
Oh, it was horrendous. It was absolute carnage, and the motor out of Maria's car ended up probably 50-odd metres away from her car. Brian
Camilleri says it's a sight he's witnessed far too often, the car wreckers intersection on the Bruce Highway.
Back in 2016, Mackay Sereno was named in the top worst roads in Australia, or most dangerous. And I don't know how much that has changed since then, which is a bit unfortunate.
And now member for Morani, Stephen Andrew, is calling for action.
So I have met with TMR this week. We have discussed a plan going forward. I've requested an assessment on all these roads.
In a statement, the Department of Transport and Main Roads said 7,500 vehicles a day use this section of the highway. We are reviewing the line marking on this section and clearing roadside vegetation to make the private accesses more visible.
The last thing we need is anyone else getting hurt.
Ashley Dwan, 7 News.
Fisheries Queensland is searching for a 130-metre shark net that's gone missing from Harbour Beach. Our conservationists are worried that a lost net could severely injure marine wildlife and also put our boaties at risk.
It's a missing link Queensland Fisheries can't figure out. 130 metres of an anchored shark net missing off a popular Mackay beach.
Very unusual to lose an entire net like this. I'm not aware of it happening before, so I'd be speculating as to what's happened at this stage.
For people that are wanting to swim, I suppose it does need to be located.
If you swim in the ocean, you're in their territory, so if you get eaten, unfortunately, that's what happens.
Early beach conservationist Tony Fonts has been diving off the Mackay and Whitsunday coast for more than 40 years. He says the biggest concern isn't swimmer safety, but the safety of marine animals who could get caught up in the net and be badly injured or die, especially with whale season in full swing.
I've learned, and the science backs me up on this, that shark nets are pretty meaningless when it comes to actually improving swimmer safety.
Boaties are also being advised to be careful with a potential hazard floating in the water, and the department isn't ruling out the possibility the net may have been cut.
That is certainly a possibility.
One assumes a missing shark net, which is buoyed, should still be floating. Anyone
who spots the stray net is being asked not to attempt to retrieve it and to report it to the Department of Fisheries. Keziah Dawn, 7 News.
Well, they said it would never happen. An AFL grand final in the heart of NRL territory. But for the first time in its 123-year history, footy's holy grail will be fought over on foreign soil at the Gabba in Brisbane. And that one day in September has also moved to October.
When the AFL boss boarded the plane to the Sunshine State with the Premiership Cup in tow, this announcement didn't come as a surprise.
So the 2020 Toyota AFL Grand Final we played in Queensland at the Gabba.
It's historic. The first time in 123 years the grand final will be held outside Victoria and played under lights.
This is the first grand final I will miss since 1982 consecutively.
But an estate embattled in a COVID crisis.
It's horrible. What can we do? It's like losing a child.
It's a bitter blow for Victorians.
Be disappointing miss after. I guess if there's no crowd, it won't be much.
The whole year's just been a disaster.
If it wasn't for that strong health response, this would not have happened. We expect that this will inject over $18 million into the Queensland economy.
And there are hopes it'll kick goals on more than just an economic front.
There are huge opportunities here for legacy of the game, but also to grow AFL across Queensland, especially into regional markets.
And the finals fever will be shared around the state.
Part of that festival will see the Premiership Cup to regional Queensland centres.
The decision ends weeks of uncertainty and speculation and leaves on one thing that will be for sure.
If Brisbane makes the grand final, then good luck having enough tickets for the Brisbane members.
30,000 fans will pack Queensland's G on October 24 when the spotlight shines on the Sunshine State. Hope Wilson, 7 News.
Mackay Base Hospital is urging us to become familiar with stroke symptoms as part of a National Awareness Week. Anyone can save a life simply by knowing the fast signs and calling 000.
In the past 12 months, around 180 people in Mackay have suffered a stroke, and more than half were under the age of 69.
People often think that it's only older people who have a stroke.
Spencer McPherson suffered a stroke a few days before his second birthday.
We realised that Spencer couldn't really find his feet. His legs just wouldn't work.
His mum Deborah also noticed he couldn't find his balance to sit up.
At the point, you don't think stroke. I mean, we're the first to say that we didn't know that kids could have strokes.
He's now almost 3 and he's made a full recovery. Anne Hooper says there's been a drop in the number of people presenting to the Mackay Base Hospital with stroke symptoms since the pandemic started.
I think people are scared of coming to a hospital with everything that's going on in the world.
She's urging people to be aware of the fast signs: a drooping face, loss of strength in an arm, difficulty speaking and swallowing, and dizziness. And to note the time the symptoms started.
If somebody knows that they woke up in the morning at 7 o'clock and they were fine, and then they were having their breakfast, and while they were eating their breakfast, all of a sudden they couldn't use their left arm, that's really important for us to know.
Anne says obesity, high blood pressure and alcohol can increase the risk of a stroke.
We're into spring now, the sun's beautiful, get out there, get some exercise.
Keziah Dawn, 7 News.
The Labor Party has announced a third-generation local will run for the seat of Morani at the state election. Shane Hamilton grew up on cane farms and cattle stations in the Pioneer Valley. The father of 3 says he wants to fast-track infrastructure in the area and create some new jobs.
Being a tradesman, I'd love to see more apprenticeships getting built. We've got a skills shortage in the mining industry, so jobs and apprenticeships are really close to my heart.
He'll run against One Nation's Stephen Andrew, Jason Borg from North Queensland First, and the LNP's Tracy Newitt. Well, as if the pandemic hasn't been hard enough, now our vets are bracing for a bad tick season for our pets. They're already seeing animals with paralysis and are urging owners to be vigilant and give their pets some medication to repel the pests before it's too late.
Little Tala has plenty of energy to spare and likes to keep her best friend Finn on his toes. But if a tick latched on without their owners noticing, the consequences could be deadly.
We've had a fair few through the doors already, and we've even had a few that came through in the winter months as well.
Tick bites can shut down major muscle groups and organs by causing paralysis.
So it's something everyone has to stay really vigilant with, because if we can stop them, it's always better than trying to treat them once they've had it on them.
Owners are being urged to check their pets regularly for ticks and pay particular attention to their face and ears.
But it's still really good to check all the time as well. So the best thing you can do is always run your hands over looking for the ticks anywhere where they might be on their dog or cat.
It's particularly important if they've been walking or swimming in places where there's plenty of scrub.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Check with the vet all the time and really check the dog to make sure that he's fine. But, yeah, really aware of it.
Rowan Hughes checks his dog Dieter daily for ticks, having had run-ins with the critters in the past.
Basically give the dog a very close pat down every day.
Danielle Pinto, 7 News.
You've got to keep an eye on your mate. We'll take a break in a moment. The butcher going digital as businesses go cashless. And here's an adventure, the 2 unlikely besties that went on the run.
Two brothers, one girl.
How about you move into our place?
This is not going to end well.
What are you, out of your mind? That's the place where Ari's brother lives. The one that you've got the hots for. Hey.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I didn't...
Tony, I just
I need you to be honest about how you feel.
Home and Away, weeknights at 7 on 7.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Fergus Builders proudly present their stunning display home in Kerrisdale Estate. The Ella 452 is architecturally brilliant, with smooth, flowing functionality and thoughtfully designed living areas. Call in and meet the residential team, Amanda, Nathan and Vanessa. At Fergus, we are proudly much more than just a building company. We love what we do. Come and experience the Fergus difference.
Fergus! Still using corded power tools? The time to cut the cord is now. Milwaukee M18 Fuel. All the power you need on one cordless platform. Upgrade now at an authorised Milwaukee retailer. Milwaukee, nothing but heavy duty.
At Total Tools, we're the experts in tools for tradies. If you've got the job, we've got the tool. We won't be beaten on low prices. Total Tools. Low prices on every tool, for every trade, guaranteed.
At Coles, you can lower the cost of your weekly shop with thousands of specials across the store this week, like half-price bonds and Cadbury chocolate-coated fruit or nut jar. Perfect for Father's Day. Coles, good things, great value.
Boys!
Watch Sky Racing live, anywhere. Now available on Sportsbet.
Nice having you with us here on 7. Mining giant BHP has announced it will use low emissions, including solar and wind power, to supply half the electricity to its Queensland coal mines. The company will also support 2 renewable projects that are expected to generate regional jobs. Mines Minister Dr Anthony Lynham says the state government supports the initiative.
Everyone's leaning towards clean, renewable energy because not only does that address climate change, but it's also a cheaper form of energy.
BHP intends to reach the 50% target by 2025. The project is a first for the company in Australia. As more retailers move away from using cash, one butcher has gone a step further, embracing cryptocurrency. The startup coin from regional Queensland is taking the country by storm, and it plans to go global.
You've heard of PayPass and maybe even Bitcoin, but there's a new virtual currency on the market hoping to give cash the chop.
This is a different breed of crypto.
Coin, spelt Q-O-I-N, was created and developed by a Queensland company, and in the 7 months since going live, more than 8,000 businesses have signed up.
Is that there is zero cost. So for a merchant to actually become a coin merchant, but also to accept additional customers coming in.
Including multi-cut meats in the state's far north.
It's just a matter of coming in with your camera. It's all done app by app, and you just take a screenshot of my barcode, type in how much the sale was, and within about 2 minutes, the money's in my bank.
Customers have slowly taken up the cryptocurrency.
In about 3 weeks, it's really started to pick up. Last week, I had about 5 of them coming here.
And the company has some grand plans in the months ahead.
Then UK, Thailand before the end of this year. Hopefully we'll get a day or two break over Christmas. And then basically the rest of the world by April next year.
I think this is the start of something huge, to be honest.
Matthew Carstunen, 7 News.
A lamb and a kelpie have been reunited with their owners after 2 nights lost in a rainforest. Little Minty and her best mate Rio started their incredible adventure after a backyard escape.
Move over, Thelma and Louise. It's time to meet Minty and Rio.
Who do you think the bad influence was in escaping?
Rio.
Yeah.
The unlikely pair have caused a fuss after 2 nights on the lam.
We really thought Rio is smart enough and fit enough and knows what she's doing to get back. So when she wasn't home that first night, it was very strange. We were thinking they were hurt or lost, or a croc had taken them.
The lamb and kelpie made their break on Monday morning. They slipped through a hole in the fence at Liz and Conan Hansford's place and wandered off into the wilderness.
We had 5 or 6 quads last night, the night before, up to about 11 o'clock at night, looking through the cane and down the creek. And we had people on horseback out there having a bit of a check.
When hopes were fading, a 4 a.m. wake-up call from a farmer brought good news.
So I said, well, what happened? He goes, the cat was looking out the window. And I was, what the bloody hell is that cat looking at? And look out the window, there's a white thing cruising past. I went out there to look and yelled at the missus, hey, look, there's a bloody lamb out here.
Rio was by her side, keeping a close watch. The pair was safe and well.
Back now. Happily after.
The only thing left to do is fix the fence. Georgia Terry, 7 News.
There's a Disney movie there, mate, I think.
I think it could be the sequel to The Adventures of Milo and Otis. Remember that classic? I think it was the 80s.
Probably too young for that, but...
Oh, really? At least we had sound in our movies.
As we saw earlier. Big day for AFL in the state, mate.
That's right, Rob. The grand final will be held at the Gabba in Brisbane, and this Saturday in our Allied Pickfords Cup, we could be seeing an early grand final preview. More on that next, as the Cowboys draw a line in the sand after players are targeted in online bullying.
The cops are having a tough day.
That's gross.
Can he clean up this mess?
It's a long story and most of it's down the side of your car. It's...
I'm okay though.
Well...
Maybe okay.
Well...
So many sticky situations.
You'll be spewing about this.
Highway Patrol, tonight, 7:30 on 7.
Take your dad to the next level this Father's Day at Super Cheap Auto. With these Tool Pro Neon tool cabinets, 30% off. And Castrol Edge 5W30, $35.89.
At Braces for You, we provide treatment for the whole family. With new technologies like Invisalign, age is no limit to have a healthy, beautiful smile. With over 25 years' experience, if you want personalised, specialist orthodontic treatment, the place to go is Braces for You.
Chemist Warehouse are having a massive flash sale. This Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, get an extra 10% off all big brands store-wide. That's right, an extra 10% off store-wide for 3 days only at Chemist Warehouse.
Put more oomph in your bedroom with OMF's More Oomph sale, with up to 55% off selected mattresses, plus for even more oomph, 50 months interest-free.
I'm up for more oomph.
And soon at Finder's best-rated mattress brand, OMF.
Isn't it good to know that your financial advisors are real people, just like you? Talk to the team at Whitsunday Wealth and enjoy the journey.
When it comes to fertilising, you can count on Biodunda liquid fertilisers. Precision applied by experienced contractors, so your crop gets the nutrition it needs exactly where it needs it. We know you've got a lot on, so leave the fertilising to us.
Welcome to the Jalna Dairy Farm. Today we're going to learn how Jalna pot set yogurt is made. Let's go. We start with fresh milk from our cows. Probably shouldn't do that, boys. Then we pour the milk straight into the pot. Not too close, mate. And we let it set for just the right amount of time to create, thick and creamy, deliciously pure pot set yogurt. Jalna pot set yogurt. If only everything was so pure.
The foods you love.
India. Italy.
And new dishes.
Lebanon.
That'll have you screaming for more.
Venezuela.
I've never had one of those. I'm excited to try it.
Whose food would you choose?
We want to do Lebanon proud. We are strong, just like the cedar tree in our flag.
Dead set, the best I've ever had in my life.
New Plate of Origin, Sunday on 7.
Welcome back to 7 News. Cowboys winger Kyle Feldt has assured fans they're doing everything they can to end the club's 9-game losing streak, with several players victims of online bullying. Overnight, North Queensland released a statement in support of players, which has been backed by rival NRL clubs.
With 2 wins from 14 games, criticism is only expected, but comments have become personal in recent weeks.
Bullying is something that we're trying to nut out of our game, and that I know it has taken toll on a lot of players' mental health and that.
It's why the Cowboys took to social media overnight, thanking the fans that have stuck by them, but putting a spotlight on those who have made unkind, hurtful or just plain mean comments.
It goes both ways. You've got to be there with us through thick and thin, and I like everything. Everyone's there when we're winning and going well, and then there's a lot more people that come out when we're losing. That's when they decide to say have their opinions and that.
But the Cowboys are refusing to throw in the towel.
We're trying really hard to dig our way out of this hole, and I know it's not pretty coming into training every day, knowing that we are sitting at like 9 losses in a row or something at the moment, so it's not enjoyable, but we are trying hard to get out of it.
Felt's one try off the top of the NRL's leaderboard, but even he's his own harshest critic.
I know personally that I haven't been up to standard the whole year.
Another chance to turn the tide beckons on Sunday against the Dragons, who are also in the hands of a caretaker coach.
It's always a big change when you lose a coach. Whoever comes in tries to change a few things, but Dino's been great.
At the Cowboys, Felt's thrown his support behind Todd Payton.
If it does happen, I know I've worked with Toddy in the previous years, and it's good. He's a nice bloke.
Jessica Stewart, 7 News.
Sticking with league, and St Patrick's College has fallen at the last hurdle in its bid to make this year's grand final in the Schoolboys Aaron Payne Cup. They lost today's semi-final to national champions Curwin High, setting up an all-Townsville decider.
Iggy Park, beware, the Bears are growling again. After losing their first match of the season last week, Curwin High were out for redemption in their path, St Patrick's College.
Last week forced us to look really, really carefully at what we were doing and how we were going about it. And, my biggest concern was that the boys didn't lose confidence from last week.
But they regained their try-scoring mojo, up 24-4 at the main break.
I spoke to them about just staying in the grind and things like that, just building some pressure, and hopefully, opportunities would come out of it.
The coach was right, but St Patrick's failed to capitalise. They peppered down their end of the field, but couldn't add to their tally.
A few missed opportunities, a few forward passes and some errors there really cost us, and a quality team like Curwin, they're going to make you pay.
The Bears added another 14 points to their total, running out 38-4 winners in Townsville.
I'm very proud of the effort they put in. They certainly didn't stop giving up, but Curwin just a little bit too classy today.
The Bears have advanced to next Wednesday's North Queensland decider.
It's always a privilege and an honour to play in the Aaron Payne Cup final, and there's plenty at stake there. The winner gets to go to a state final.
Jessica Stewart, 7 News.
As reported earlier, this year's AFL Grand Final will be played outside Victoria for the first time in its history, with the Gabba in Brisbane to play host on October 24. In the local Allied Pickfords Cup, there are just 2 rounds left until finals, and we could have a grand final preview at Rogers Oval this Saturday. The Swans are desperate to hand the Saints their first loss of the season, with both teams all but guaranteed to finish 1 and 2 on the ladder.
I think they'll be like us. They'll be having a look, as we will be. They're tall and they're very good marking in the air, so we'll probably play 2 different styles of football.
The first place Saints will be without a few key players, though, due to shift work. In Saturday's other games, the Magpies take on the Hawks at Harrop Park in a battle of 3rd and 4th, while Bakers Creek take on the Whitsunday Sea Eagles in the clash of the competition's 2 bottom teams. Ruffy, did you have the number of the Premier or Gil McLaughlin by any chance? I'm free Saturday night, October 24, so...
Heading down, eh?
I could go down.
Good luck getting the ticket there, mate, eh?
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you, Nath. Liv's got the weather details in a moment. Lovely day. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back after the break here on 7.
Get ready to witness awesome.
What a way to open the show.
It's gonna take the amazing to make the semi-final.
The best that we have ever had.
Just wait till you see how he survives this.
This is the one my mum didn't want me to try.
And the performance that'll unite the world.
It brings hope. It brings love that we need right now.
America's Got Talent Finals. Tonight, 8:30 on 7.
If you're experiencing abuse or domestic violence, contact 1-800-RESPECT for free, confidential advice and counselling, online and by phone 24/7. There's no place for abuse or domestic violence. Help is here. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Call Transit Tyres for Hankook tyres. You'll find our prices very interesting.
To our 372,000 workers in the mining and gas industry, thanks for taking extra care when we all need it. Your work generates over $74 billion each year for the Queensland economy, keeping our regions healthy and our cities moving, helping to build roads and hospitals, helping Queensland to recover. Every job and resources helps create other jobs right across the state. You can count on us to help Queensland recover.
Key Solutions Group, specialising in all engineering projects from concept to installation. Our highly experienced and knowledgeable staff are dedicated to delivering every project to the highest standard.
Key Solutions Group, committed to safety, quality and delivery.
Tonight for dinner, it has to be Ma's favourite. Fresh vegetables from Miss Fud's and fresh locally sourced meat. It's all fresh and authentic, and it's Ma's turn to cook tonight. Ma's Pizza Kitchen. Call 131 Pizza.
Ned's Same Race Multi, now available on all 3 racing codes. Pump up your odds in any thoroughbred, greyhound or harness race by selecting 2 to 4 runners to finish anywhere inside the top 4. Take it to the Ned's level.
Call Transit Tyres for Bridgestone tyres. You'll find our prices very interesting.
Liven up your lunch with Tip Top sandwich thins. They're super soft and light, and each one is only 99 calories, so you can enjoy a softer, lighter lunch. Also available in Tip Top Burger Thins.
This weather report brought to you by Ozcare. Feels like home.
Good evening, Livio Regano with tonight's weather. So far it's been a gentle transition into spring, no blinding dust storms, and our bushfire situation looks under better control than last year. September's historically our driest month, but the Bureau is still tipping better than average rainfall this season. Top temperatures continue to bounce around in that mid to high 20s ballpark, which is about average for early September. Today's range in Mackay was 14 to 26 degrees. On the satellite loop, a few changes since yesterday. Instead of having most of the cloud concentrated in the tropics, not that it produced much in the way of showers, we're seeing a little bit of a mass forming in the south now. Either way, it's not being very productive, and once again our 24-hour rainfalls have only been in the less than 10 millimetre range and mostly nothing at all. We've seen just a few little light coastal fringe showers which you can barely discern on this enhancement here. So let's go to the chart now and see if that reveals any more info. High is quite slow moving in the Tasman Sea, and it's a fairly simple situation where you've got an anti-clockwise flow around the high, and that's generating southeasterly trade winds that come straight off the ocean, so there's plenty of moisture. It's keeping the nights a lot milder, but it's also making for some coastal cloud and 1 or 2 of those light showers. On tomorrow's chart, it's the same. Nothing really changes along the coast, but you do see an inland trough starting to move slightly east. On the outlook chart, again, it moves a little bit east, that inland trough, but it's not until the weekend that it might pose a threat to the southeast with maybe a storm. Now, the latest from the Weather Bureau. The boating forecast for Mackay waters, easterly winds up to 20 knots tomorrow. On Friday, east-northeasterlies 10 to 15, and then on Saturday, still 10 to 15 knots. There's a very strong tidal swing at the moment, linked to yesterday's full moon. The next high tide's due shortly before midday tomorrow, or about midday perhaps, but with an even larger peak overnight. Central coasts and Whitsundays, a 20% chance of a coastal shower, which isn't much. 26 at top for Mackay, Bowen 27, Proserpine 26 again. Central Highlands and Coalfields, fine, though partly cloudy, with 28 for Emerald, Claremont and Moranbah 27. Looking ahead for Mackay, a possible shower returning by the weekend with isolated light falls. A new high next week should keep the clouds coming in, but rainfall will be minimal. Catch you soon, and now it's back to the team.
Terrific, Luke. Thank you very much, mate. Thanks very much for your company. And a reminder, if you missed anything, we have our replay on 7+. We've got the National Bulletin now, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. Good night.